And welcome to our fourth episode of Steel Radio, the Steel Radio Show. Joining us, Slick Mick Karsh and the architect Ed Hellier, who is still suffering the ill effects of being launched from his chair. I was worried he's going to have some lower back issues there, Mick, as Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, of course, that 7 Levels of Hate Level 3 match, epic in proportion, guys. It doesn't get any better than that. Ed, let's first start from the card, from the top down. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. What have we done? 50, 60 of these things? This one is going to stay in my mind for a long time. First of all, on the main event, I think we have replaced the epic match of Steel Domain Wrestling. You know, prior to that, it was Punk and Steel, the ladder match. People still talk about that one 10 years later. But now I think we've got a new match that's going to be in the history books for a long time. Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana. What a match. And, you know, I'm going to go, you know, a little inside baseball right here. Talk about great storyline, great storytelling, and ring psychology. It was all there. I mean, it was a hard-hitting match, but the two of them really got the crowd and kept them into that match from start to finish.
They really gave it up, didn't they?
Oh, they were amazing. They were amazing 15 years ago. They're really delivered this time. And what's interesting about this is that I had somebody actually approach me before the card and say, yeah, this is really for the NWA title? Come on. You know, as if now there's this big distinction in the lineage. You know what? Those two delivered as good or better than the NWA champions in the past. People, you've got to understand, this is the real deal. Because we're not celebrating our 1,000th episode or whatever it is, or we're going live for 2 weeks in the summer, you know, for 3 hours. This is the real deal. And Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana know each other very, very well. You could see that in the execution of everything during the match. And remember, we had, what, 500-600 people there? There might as well have been 75,000 in the Tokyo Dome for as hard as these two worked. They elevated their game, which is already great. They elevated Steel Domain, which is already great. And people are already clamoring. When are we going to see SDW again?
Well, and for the record, there were 673 paid in the building,
Fantastic.
which was a great crowd. And given the reaction from the post-match discussions that I've had with a lot of people, I am pretty confident we can double that audience for next year. The thing that stood out to me the most about that match in particular, which, by the way, will be available on Steel Domain Wrestling in a pay-per-view basis. You can watch, I think, Ed, we're talking about that match alone, or you can watch the entire pay-per-view event from start to finish. We're going to have that posted probably, you name the time. When do you want that posted?
Well, hopefully by the end of this week.
Okay, that's perfect for me.
Yep.
I mean, I'd say you want it later today, but we'll get it to you later this week, and you'll be able to really take a look at that. But the thing that stood out to me is I saw Ric Flair, and I believe he was going against Rhodes live in an NWA title match, which was as good as it gets. This match was every bit as good as that one. Forget the names, forget the venue, forget the crowd, whatever it was. What was delivered in ring and outside of ring, which was just about as much as in ring. And when Ed said from storytelling and as far as pacing and everything they did, unbelievable. And people were standing guides the entire match.
Mm-hmm.
They were riveted. They weren't going anywhere.
Well, it was a long night of wrestling. And you're right. I mean, when that match started, right when the bell rang, people were on their feet. They were on their feet during the introductions, actually, and never sat down the whole time. I was sitting there at ringside. I watched the whole thing. You know, there were a lot of just really, really impressive sequences of moves there that, you know, these two guys, like Mick was saying, know each other very well. And but I think there was certainly, you know, there were two big dogs in that locker room, and despite, you know, maybe some of their history together, even as friends, I think, you know, deep down inside of each one of them was saying, you know what, I'm going out on top tonight, not him. that's the type of competitors both these guys are.
Well, you could definitely feel and see that competitive edge that either one of them was not going to be upstaged by the other, and they were going to deliver, but they worked together so well from the very start to the very finish. I couldn't believe the shot into the plexiglass.
Oh,
Ah,
the shot in the plexiglass, and I know you were nervous because you're wondering who's going to pay the bill. You got and you looked over at Hellier like he was going to pick up the tab.
No,
good luck,
I don't do that.
Good luck with that.
well, then I looked over the treasurer, Anthony DeGiulio of HYHA, when he saw the chairs being thrown in. You know, we had to rent those chairs for that program. And I said, there's another one. There's another one. And he's watching just the damage deposit go right out the door. No, there wasn't really one, but but the truth be told, he did hit that glass with authority, and there are players that have helmets on that get concussed. That stuff doesn't move. The first thing he said to me, he goes, "Am I all right?" I go, "You tell me," because he did have a very serious issue up on top of his head, but he ate that one for the good of the show and the fans, and that was big time.
Well, it's pride in the business. It's pride in your craft. It's pride in what you do. And if knowing Adam Pierce, particularly the way Ed and I do, that is a real intense, fierce competitor. And Adam, he gets into that ring and he's zoned, and he's got blinders on, and he's got a job to do. And if you happen to be, unfortunately, a fan that would get in his way, you might just be,
Well,
part
we
of
saw
the
the fan in
carnage.
the front row. He stole his chair and shoved him a mile.
Absolutely. And then
There were
and
little
you
kids in the
mentioned
crowd.
Ed.
That was, for me, that was the highlight of my night.
Well, what I would have done, and it's a good thing that Ed got up and got out of there real quickly, because heaven knows, first of all, Ed would be in rough shape today.
Well, he looked like he had a first step, though, like he was going to go after him.
Well,
I think that was Ed's instinct.
even Ed Hellier.
I don't touch the competitors. What do you mean? I wouldn't have laid a hand on either one of those
You
guys.
just touched the fans.
So he went two hands up, no touch.
Well, but what's interesting is I would have warned Adam Pierce if he would have tried to lift Ed off the chair. Ed had his wallet in his pocket, and there's
And
no
it's so
way.
heavy, he would have craned him with it.
You would have a crane could not lift
And then
Ed
son
Hellier.
Ethan, who was on the sound, would have been horrified as the Benjamins were flying out.
No, he would have probably checked to see if he's in the will.
Oh, okay. So
That's why he was
He would have
laughing?
egged it on a little. That's why he was laughing.
I want to get back to not only Adam Pierce and Colt Cabana, but everybody on that show, top to bottom, delivered again. Ryan Cruz and Arya Davari.
That was everybody's discussion, Mick. I mean, everybody was saying, wow, that was main event caliber.
Oh, it is. And we talk about the young lions in the business and the guys that we have here on the local level. They delivered again, just like they did in West St. Paul.
You know, when I think back to matches from the St. Paul Civic Center, and I'll date myself again, I think of Tito Santana versus Ken Patera, let's say, or whatever that hookup was, and that was either a sub-main event or a main event type match. That was even close to what those two delivered. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding.
Well, a lot of people have asked me, okay, how long are you going to be around, Ed? I mean, is this going to be something that's going to be ongoing? And, I've been kind of, closed mouth about it. Here's the thing. If we keep getting responses like we had, and we keep getting performances in the ring like we had, we'll keep it going. When it gets to the point where we're back, running once a month and there's 100 people in the building, what's the point? I think there can be, too much, but I think we're going to give them just the right amount of steel domain so that when they leave wanting more, and then we'll get them to come back, and we'll talk a little bit more in a minute about our next date.
The match like that with Davari and Cruz leaves people definitely wanting more. And the interesting part was I don't think anybody realized after that match concluded that the other ones could be anything close to it, because you could kind of feel that.
Sure.
It was so good, but little did they know they were in for the treat of their life, because I had a guy, a longtime wrestling fan, text me. He was watching on pay-per-view. Epic. That was his term. Absolutely epic. And so the linkage from those to the others were great. I thought the tag match was really good.
Yeah, I mean, we had originally planned Red Lightning teaming up with Robbie Thunder, and unfortunately last weekend he got an injury, so he's going to be out for indefinite period of time. So we brought in Mikey Wipeout for the first time, and I thought,
Next guy.
yeah, for the first time, with Steel Domain, I thought he, did a great job. I mean, he was maybe a little nervous. This is a, big crowd and a special environment, so maybe he was a little bit, attentive at first. But I think he's somebody that you'll probably see again in the future. Robbie Thunder, Robbie just keeps getting better. And I gotta also say this young Rennie D kid.
Ooh, like him.
Number one, got a great attitude. Number two, he's a smart kid. He's working on his master's degree over at the Carlson School of Business. So, he's got some smarts there, and he just wants to work. He's in
good.
great shape, and he shows up on time with a great attitude, and it was it was a good night. Yeah,
just a
I
good
think
guy.
and I'll just comment quickly on the rest of the matches. I thought the girls delivered great. I saw some comments about, I think it was on ProWrestling.net. They liked Jeremy Hallberg's role in there, being the henpecked husband.
Great.
Yeah,
he was great.
He's living the gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
I know he's not acting. He's
yeah,
just,
Heather Boss is. I'm
so
sure.
basically, you're telling me he's George Clooney.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No doubt.
Yeah, right. It's not. He's probably. Yeah, you're right. He's probably. It's very easy for him to play that role. Miss Natural again back with us. I thought she, put in a great performance. I know I'm forgetting some people. Oh,
Matt
the
Classic.
opening match, the one I wanted to see, because I admittedly I'm a big Matt Classic fan.
Yeah.
And I loved everything about it. The way they came out and the back and forth between him and Bulldog, and then of course Bulldog losing his cool, And then how about that airplane spin, Mick? When was the last time you saw one of those?
Last time I saw an airplane spin like that is a match I called in 1917.
Yeah, that's
With,
about right.
I believe it was Frank.
You and
Gosch.
Shire?
Yeah, me and Shire. And Ed Strangler Lewis. And I love the way Matt Classic pulled those tights up to his neck.
Do you know how many people talked about that?
Oh, my.
I mean, that was like constant how he was going to the trunks.
Yeah.
But he also does that kind of little head tilt thing.
Yeah.
He
Which
does.
Is perfect.
He does.
But there were two things from that match with Matt Classic that just one thing I would like to see him add into his arsenal. We need to get a steamroller out of him, out of Vaughn style. I would pay for that. The steamroller.
Do you know how much not only I hated the
For the
steamroller,
AWA title.
but I hated Otto Vance.
You know, the greatest part about that is he does the steamroller and captures the title from Nick Bockwinkel
Oh, please, don't.
with that move, not once but twice in the middle of the squared circle. Okay, they lost me there on that one. But anyway, the other part that I thoroughly enjoyed is when he scaled to the second rope, and it was just too risky.
He got nervous.
Yeah, the legs started shaking. He looked like he lost his equilibrium.
Yeah.
Went back to the comfort level of the bottom rope.
Right.
Perfect.
It almost looked like Hellier at a DFL convention. That's how nervous he was. I just want a couple observations.
First of all, I wouldn't be caught dead.
I think
one
Yes,
of
you
those.
would.
That's the brunt of the joke.
That's exactly. A couple of things. First of all, it was clear by the way the fans were chanting "Colt Cabana, Colt Cabana." These are, and we talked about this during
This
the
is
commentary.
awesome.
This is
They
awesome.
threw that out there. What was the yes chant? I don't know about that. What is that?
It's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Daniel Bryan
new
in
thing.
WWE is the new.
Because I'm not watching that.
It's the 2012 version of Steve Austin's "What."
Yeah.
That's all it is. But the fans.
How about
were
maybe? Not yes, not no. Maybe.
don't give me any idea.
Maybe
Don't
you'll
get
get
him
paid.
started.
The fans here are very astute. And you had 673, as you said, make close to 700 people in there chanting Colt Cabana, and they're into the match like this is a program that plays out in the Twin Cities all the time.
Yep.
These fans know what they're doing. The other thing I want to say is it's no secret there's a lot of independent wrestling in the state of Minnesota, especially right here in the Twin Cities. You know, on any given weekend, you can go watch independent pro wrestling. It's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to bury anybody. Some promotions are really good and some are awful. And for the people who have been to some of those awful shows and think that that's what pro wrestling on the independent level is in the state of Minnesota, come to an SDW show and we will change your mind real quickly. Whatever, whenever the next dates are, you're going to become a fan. You're going to realize the talent that's really out there. We boast of Austin Aries and CM Punk and Colt Cabana.
And what is Austin Aries right now?
Now we got a world champion again.
So how many world champions?
Oh,
NWA,
NWA,
WWE,
yeah, TNA, absolutely. We got
so who you kidding?
Yesterday, I saw a picture. I don't know if you saw this. It was on Facebook, and the title was, "For those who think independent wrestling is irrelevant." And there's in the top caption, there's a picture of Punk and Aries somewhere in 2005 in an independent show, and then the two pictures below that is Punk with the WWE title and Austin Aries with the TNA title. So apparently, there's a couple of organizations that maybe have changed their view on independent wrestling.
Well, the key component that you hear from all of these competitors is it's not just independent wrestling, but they tout themselves from Steel Domain Wrestling. Punk with the T-shirt when he won the title. Cabana and Pierce clearly saying this is where we cut our teeth. I'm sure Austin Aries is saying the same things out there. So from my perspective, there's a lot of firepower behind this organization. Guys like you that have been in this business for a long time, that in the state of Minnesota are respected not only by the fans but by the wrestlers, not only for the product that's put out but for doing it right. You go to the cards and you see how they're executed. That supports exactly what the two of you are talking about. I also think when you bring in the technology that we're bringing right now, from live streaming to our radio podcast, the consistency of the website and the overall brand, bring it, is what I say. Because right now I think if I'm an independent promotion in the state, I have no problem saying it. I'd be a little bit shaky right now saying, what in the world are these guys doing?
Well, this technology is great, and of course I'll be the first to admit, and Karsh, I think you're probably in the same boat. We just got rid of our black and white TVs last month.
You gave them to the crusher to throw away.
Yeah, so this is all pretty new to me, but I do know one thing. This is what the fans want, and I think this is what the fans are going to respond to. And it's you can do it when you want to do it. You don't have to wait till Saturday at 11 o'clock or whenever it is, or like you would do, Karsh, take that VHS tape and tape it. But I just think the technology is great, and we're going to, see what we can do with it.
Now, let's talk about what's coming up.
Well, while we're on that, I just wanted to take a technology push. I have stacks of DVDs and mini DV tapes from events that you guys have been a part of. We were just looking at a Brookings, South Dakota card.
That stuff's never been out in public.
Yeah, we have guys like Aries. We have Christian's going to be on some of this stuff. You've got Punk. You've got Cabana, Pierce. Who am I missing? I mean,
Norman
you go up
Smiley,
and down.
Larry Zbyszko.
It goes on and on.
Bob Capel.
We're going to start releasing this content on the Steel Domain website. And you'll be able to watch individual matches, and you'll also be able to watch the actual card itself. We're going to do it on pay-per-view, so it's almost like an iTunes-type purchase, which would be very cheap for the individual match, followed by the actual card, which costs a couple more bucks, but it's not going to be a ton of money. And we're going to get it set so it's very easy to watch, and we'll be releasing things quite consistently, and in the interim be building cards with our current talent around it right now. We have something, Ed, coming up in September.
Well, yeah, after Saturday night, as I was heading home exhausted, and I'm thinking, boy, I need to take some time off. Next morning I woke up and I was ready to go. It happens. It happens every single time. I get to bed at 2 and I'm up at 6:30, and I just thought, well, let's see. There was no question that the fans left wanting more, and with Colt Cabana, the response that he got, I thought, all right, he's a busy guy. I said, I just sent him a note, and I said, what dates have you got left for this year? He has 2, and I got one of them.
Sweet.
And what I had to do is hope and pray that the West St. Paul Armory was available, and as luck would have it, it's available. So September 22nd, West St. Paul Armory, Colt Cabana makes his homecoming, not only to Minnesota a second time, but to place where it all happened. And I thought, okay, so after talking with the brain trust here at Steel Domain Wrestling, who would be a good opponent, and Arya Davari's name came up. So I sent Arya a message. I said, call me as soon as possible. That was just the message. And about 15 minutes later, the phone rang. I didn't have his phone number at the time. And I said, "Are you available September 22nd?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "How would you like Cabana?" And he was like, "Yes." He was on board. And so the main event on September 22nd in West St. Paul will be Colt Cabana, who could be or may not be the current NWA
He's
champion.
looking pretty good at 3 rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the rising stars, certainly here in the independent scene, Arya Davari. Now, this is going to be the special thing for the fans.
You're worked up about
Oh, yeah. It just kept going. It just kept going.
Can I? I'm not going to say what
Yeah.
it is, but Mick, when Ed threw this by me, I was driving down 394 off of downtown, and I damn near drove right off the road.
When he
Judging
threw,
from that car you drive, it looks like it's happened a few times.
when he threw it by me, I was watching a repeat of Jail on Spike TV, and I choked on a Frito.
Did you?
Yes.
Is
I
that why
did.
we're hoarse?
I think so.
Were those the scoop types or
The
the
scoop
regular?
up, well, of course, the little ones, but
So
that
it was.
scoop,
Yeah.
So it was thoroughly lodged.
I had like a second Adam's apple. Seriously.
That's what that is.
Hi.
Oh no.
Okay, so here, let's get back to the 22nd of September. Here's the special deal for the fans. You know, there's shows where they advertise you get a ringside seat. It's the front row. You pay extra money. We're going to do better than that. We're going to have one row of ringside seats around the ring inside the security rail. Let me repeat that. The fans that purchase these seats are not going to be sitting in front of the rail. They're going to be sitting in front of the ring. And the rest of the fans will be in the general admission area.
You mean they're going to be by the announce table?
They're going
Yep.
to be right next to
They're
the
gonna be-
timekeeper,
You.
that announcer,
What do you mean that announce?
well, the new one.
The Hall of Famer.
The new ring announcer who will debut on the
We're
22nd.
going to announce
Yeah.
who that's going to be?
Not yet.
Okay. we're going
But we're gonna have a special seating area, and you're gonna have to be escorted in and escorted out. Like if you got to go to the bathroom,
You have to
Mick,
keep your hands to yourself.
you're gonna have to raise your hand and have one of the security guys come and get you, escort you out of
I
that.
already do. You
I
know,
know.
that.
do they have to keep their hands to themselves? I mean, are they in
Well,
jeopardy?
obviously,
I
we,
mean,
you
they're
know,
obviously in the
we don't want them
ring
to
of
get
play.
involved in the match, but we want them to get the best seat in the house. This is
Absolutely.
unprecedented. They like to say that in politics a lot. Unprecedented. As far as I know, it hasn't happened before. But we're going to have barricades. The fans will be inside the barricade, just one row. And from what I can guess, that might be a maximum of 60 seats. And these seats are going to be available on the website. You'll only be able to purchase them via PayPal, and then the rest will be
So
general admission.
that'll be a purchase in advance for those. We'll
Oh,
sell
yeah,
those out.
yeah.
But the rest is general admission throughout the facility.
Yep.
At the door.
Correct.
I want to say, you know, if you're going to open up that barricade gimmick and have the fans up front, nobody touches the plaque.
Oh!
The plaque. I might not
by the
even
way,
bring it to the
where is-
announce table.
By the way, where is the plaque?
You stole it. You stole it.
I am now the title holder.
I know. I saw you carving P-E-E. I know what you're doing.
Here's what we ought to do. You know when bouncers let people into a exclusive club, they got
Yes,
that little rope.
sure, yeah.
We're going to have that around the plaque to
Oh,
protect it,
okay.
so nobody can
I've got
get
a
Kinda
better
like
idea.
the Hope
No.
Diamond.
I've got a better idea.
kind of like your wallet.
I happened to see an old episode of the Pink Panther. Why don't we put it in one of those little like bowls that they have for the Pink Panther?
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, it kind of shine it so it
Was
sparkles.
it the original Pink Panther with Peter Sellers?
Yeah, it was a '75 edition, and so we got to go off the rails. My daughter, 13 years old, is going to watch this show. I go, you got to watch this. It's unbelievable. It took goddamn 15 minutes for that.
Hey.
stupid.
There's kids listening to this.
You know, but for that open, it took over 15 minutes to just get to the. I don't care who the editor is.
Are you
know, the
talking about
cartoon-
Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which you wanted to get on. So that great segue.
let me talk about Monday Night Raw. There are good editions of Monday Night Raw. There are so-so editions, and there are awful editions. From Saturday night to Monday night, wrestling fans had a chance to make a comparison. If you saw Steel Domain on pay-per-view, or if you were at the Hopkins Pavilion or whatever, You know what you saw there. You know what you saw with Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana. Now, compare that to what you saw Monday night with a 26-minute opening segment with Hornswoggle underneath the ring with Santino Marella running around like he's Sherlock Holmes. And this is to promote a pay-per-view. There is no comparison in my mind. And I'll just leave it.
We had 30 minutes of raging action that was beyond to not bring up a promotion, but I have to. It really took me back to the early days of the ECW, what I felt in that building. I felt
yes.
it was absolutely right spot on with that. And every true wrestling fan knows that was unreal stuff.
Well, in defense of the WWE, for some reason, they go off the rails every now and then. And I'm a fan. I try and watch it. I tape it because I can get through the stuff I don't want to watch. But I saw about the first 25 minutes, and I was trying real hard to get the noose off my neck because I think I was about ready to hang myself after that. But we don't have Hollywood
we'll
writers.
give you a scoop Frito for that. How about that?
Hey,
We don't have Hollywood writers. I mean, it's no secret. It's Mick and I. I mean, we're the ones that we sit down with the boys and we come up with what we want to do. I mean, it's no secret. And I think what happened is stuff just gets so scripted that they talk about, I don't know what the hell they call themselves now. I mean, it's sports entertainment, and then they call it the serial. What the hell is that?
I don't
action,
even pay
action.
What is this?
Whatever.
This is professional.
This is pro wrestling. Yeah, this is there's a difference.
And
I'm not trying to sound like we're better. We're not. I mean, we're not the WWE. We don't want to be. We want to present wrestling, and there's a select group that want
We
it.
have a niche of fans who crave this type of product, who would rather see a 30-minute match, knock down, drag out, things they've never seen before, like ropes being taken apart, a Boston Crab turned into a choke. Unbelievable stuff.
I just want to ask one question, and again, alluding to Raw, and I don't know why I want to bring this up other than the fact that I don't get it.
You want to?
Who did Jack Swagger piss off? I just do
Jack
not.
Swagger. How about Drew McIntyre?
Oh, you've
I
got
mean, yeah, he's not a great talker, but look at him.
a great worker.
Who did he do a 30-second job to last night?
Brodus
Clay?
I think
Was it 30 seconds?
Didn't
Seemed
Brodus
like it.
beat Swagger?
No. Well, whatever it was terrible.
It was terrible. But anyway, so I digress. But very proud of.
I can
what
hear a
we're
few
doing.
people chuckling.
Very proud of what we're doing.
Guys, we've been rocking nearly 30 minutes on this card,
Yeah.
so here's the quick summary.
Talk about dragging it out.
Yeah, really, I know. Here we are. The 26th.
We're criticizing.
We're
basically
already,
doing-
we're already 2
30
minutes past the Raw Open
Yeah.
at this point.
It's a time limit draw right
quick
here, guys.
summary and
Let's
a
go.
quick look ahead. It was an unbelievable Saturday night at the Hopkins Pavlion. Can't say enough about Steel the Main Wrestling fans. They are into it, knowledgeable. I can feel a sense of trepidation of really wanting to get both feet into the pool. They're dipping a foot, not sure what's going on here with the organization, what's happening. I think it's pretty clear to see we're doing these podcasts, these radio shows. We're working with Pierce on his highlight videos. We've got videos we're posting on this website. We've got a card signed for the 22nd of September. Things are happening. Stay with us. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up in the near future.
I just want to throw in one line about the main event on the 22nd. Ed talked about it. That match, to me, has the potential to be every bit as good in a different way as Pearson Cabana, because Arya Davari, you know it, you're a huge Arya Davari fan, Pete. And this kid is just, he's the next big thing in wrestling. I mean, he's amazing. Putting him in the ring with Cabana was a stroke of genius.
My concern with him is we're going to lose.
That's right. I agree with that.
My concern is he's going to be going somewhere
I
pretty
think
soon.
so, too.
I don't
Well,
think he's going to be around too.
Let's keep him.
He signed?
Let's keep him busy. Yeah,
that's all we care
he's
about.
All good.
So he's going nowhere.
And I
See?
just
Rest easy.
one last thing. I just can't thank you guys enough, the fans out there that came out to Hopkins and supporting us, because you are the guys that are making it fun. So
That is absolutely true, Ed. That's going to do it here for what was a great edition. No guests from heaven today. Are you there?
Wally's pissed. He doesn't
He
want
was
to talk to
pissed.
you.
I wasn't really
No, Wally doesn't want to be
That's
bothered.
gotten a lot of play out there.
Well, you know what?
Well, you know what? I'll kiss his ass and we'll get him back. How's
I
that?
did for 20 years.
Okay,
You might
well,
as
now it's my turn. For Mick Karsh and Ed Hellier, I'm Pete Wagner. Have yourself a great day. So long, everybody.